Yeah, Matsiulis. Yeah, Matsiulis. Let's listen for Eddie, but I'm almost positive Matsiulis. Maybe Ashley.
Probably Ashley.
Šarūnas Vasiliauskas. Adas Juskevičius, Šarūnas Vasiliauskas.
Check. Basketball World Cup.
One, two, three, check. You hear me? All good.
Basketball World Cup.
The biggest international basketball competition.
Hello everybody, welcome to Barcelona. This is day 8 of the FIBA Basketball World Cup and the round of 16 game between New Zealand and Lithuania. Well, this is something that we're accustomed to seeing in international basketball, these great traveling Lithuanian fans, but a lot of tall black fans have made the journey into the Northern Hemisphere for this terrific basketball tournament. We're going to watch New Zealand and Lithuania square off, and then later tonight, another team from down under, Australia, taking on Turkey. And the winners of these two games will play each other in the quarterfinals. And I'm Jeff Taylor, joined by George Zedek once again, bringing you the action. And George, as we look at these Lithuanian fans, this is a really interesting, what would you say, clash of styles between Lithuania and New Zealand?
Oh, absolutely. Good afternoon, Jeff. It's great to be here. I think that what you have here is a spectacular matchup between the two teams. I think that Lithuania has overcome a lot of adversity with an injury to Mantas Kalnietis, the key point guard to the team just before the start of the World Cup. But they have gelled together. They have been able to overcome this injury. New Zealand, what a team of warriors. They are undersized, but they play big and tough. They just manage in time. They start with a record of 0-3 in the group play, but they have won the last two games, so they are on an upswing. They are playing better and better as the tournament goes on. So this will be an incredible matchup here between the winner of Group D in Canarias, Lithuania, and a fourth place finish, New Zealand from Bilbao.
Well, it's the FIBA Basketball World Cup coming at you here from Barcelona. It's the round of 16. It's Lithuania squaring off against New Zealand, and the Lithuanian team being unveiled to the crowd here in the Palau Saint-Jordi. Martinez Potsius and talented group of players, but missing one very important player.
Well, we said it before. Mantas Kalnietis got just injured in the last preparation games against Croatia. He's out. He will be out at least till the New Year's. So we wish him a speedy recovery. If you talk about Lithuania, you have to mention the big man, Jonas Valančiūnas. He's leading the Lithuanians in scoring. He's averaging 11.2%, and he is shot incredible, 76% from the field. So if you give him the ball in a scoring position around the basket, you can almost count the 2 points. But he has to be careful. The New Zealand team is unorthodox. They will try to double. They will try to throw different defensive looks at him, and he's going to have to read the defense, so he's going to have to play the smart game as well.
Well, for the New Zealand Tall Blacks, we all realize it's been 12 years since their incredible run to the semifinals. Here they are, yet again, at the FIBA Basketball World Cup. Kirk Penny was in that team 12 years ago, but it's a very interesting team.
It's a very interesting team, and if you want to speak about a main man, you would probably expect me to speak about Kirk Penny. He does deserve a lot of credit, but I'm going to talk about a different guy. I'm going to talk again about big man, Isaac Fotu. He's been incredible in the last 2 games. He has come off the bench and has provided an incredible spark for the Tall Blacks. He's a big man capable of shooting from the outside, and he's got a lot of skills on the inside. He also gets aggressively on the offensive board, so he again is going to be looked for some energy off the bench.
Well, we're going to have the playing of the national anthems for both teams, starting with Lithuania and then New Zealand. Saw the Lithuanian Basketball Federation president, basketball legend Arvydas Sabonis there, watching the national anthem now for New Zealand's national anthem. So the national anthems have been played, observed, sung, and the players, as is the custom, always meet at midcourt, as well as the coaches and officials for each team before the proceedings begin. Welcome to the FIBA Basketball World Cup here in Barcelona, Spain. The round of 16 game between New Zealand and Lithuania. The refereeing crew for today will be from Serbia, Argentina, and the Philippines. Named George, it's a game a Lithuania roster that we mentioned without Kalnietis. In some ways that maybe eases the pressure, but so great is the tradition and always the expectation levels for Lithuania. You know the pressure is on for this group of players.
Well, all of a sudden you got players that did not really expect to get much time to carry the load and play for 40 minutes in the game. If it's Juskevicius or Vasiliauskas or Ronaldo Seibutis, who really is a scoring guard and likes to play in the off guard. Here's the starting lineup here for Lithuania. Adas Juskevicius gets to start at the point guard. Jonas Matsulis there at the forward. At the small forward, Ronaldo Seibutis at the off guard. Donald Mateunas at the power forward, and big Jonas Valanciunas there at the center spot. So no surprises really there for Coach Kazlauskas, who really likes to run a very tight ship. He really expects all his players to be mentally 100% prepared there for the game, and his assistant coach spoke just about that, the mental preparation. We just have to be ready for the Tall Blacks.
As for the Tall Blacks, we watched them play all their games, and they basically rose from the dead, didn't they? They were 0-3 and somehow made it to the round of 16.
Well, they were not in a pretty spot, but they just somehow managed to rally. And I will once again have to mention Isaac Fotu. I mean, he has come off the bench and just provided some incredible energy, scoring as well, and he's been a big part. Let's watch their haka.
The haka from New Zealand for every game. How much energy does that take for New Zealand to do the haka?
It fires them up, that's for sure. I mean, this is the ritual they do before every sports game, all their sports teams, and just for the spectators, I mean, this is something to look for.
But the spectators would have been used to it, as well as the Lithuanians. As you see, Kirk Payne, Vokona, Thomas Abercrombie, Rob Lowe, and Ty Webster. So it's the same, pretty much the same starting lineup that we've seen in this tournament.
It is a starting lineup and the same one as we've seen in the tournament, but what a job for Rob Lowe. I mean, he will be really asked to do a lot defensively there to keep the big guys of Lithuania in check. That's not easy. You got Valanciunas, if he gets in foul trouble, you got Moteunas to come off the bench, and then you have super smart and experienced players with the Lavrinovic brothers. So this will not be an easy task to handle there for New Zealand.
Well, Moteunas is actually the starting lineup, but if you look at Sabutis and Kirk Payne, a couple of players that'll take center stage.
Great scorers and shooters. Both of them can heat it up in a second. Of course, Ronaldo Seibutis, with absence of Kalnietis, he's going to be asked to do a little bit of playmaking. Maybe he's going to bring up the ball a little bit more than you would usually expect him. So let's see for him how he plays, but he can heat up in a second. And same for Kirk Payne. He's been a focal point of every defense we have seen so far. All the teams, all the opponents just really focus on him.
So Ty Webster and Isaac Fotu having a little pregame moment there. And these teams met earlier in the preparations where I'm guessing New Zealand would have done the haka in that game as well. But what happened on the court, do you remember, in that friendly before
that was a very interesting game. Actually, after 3 quarters, New Zealand was up. So I think it was a big lesson there for the Lithuanians. They just have to take them with 100% concentration. The score was 85-79, 6 points win for the Lithuanians, but it was not easy. So let's see what happens here today.
Hello everybody, welcome to Barcelona. It's New Zealand, Lithuania, round of 16, the FIBA Basketball World Cup. And jumping center, Rob Lowe and Jonas Valanciunas. And the quick jump from Rob Lowe turns it over immediately over to Lithuania, wearing the green and attacking the basket to the left of your screen. Juskevicius, excuse me, out there handling the ball for New Zealand. There he is, number 5. He was cut from the team and then added to the team after the injury to Kalnietis, and early on a foul.
And this is going to be strategy there for Lithuania. They're just going to pound the ball to the inside. And Rob Lowe makes the first foul. Motiejunas, what a powerful player he is. He's playing for the Houston Rockets in the NBA, and he has established himself well in the tournament. He's the second leading scorer there for the Lithuanians with 10.4 points. And guess who's the leading scorer? We said it before. It's Jonas Valančiūnas. So what a combo, 1-2 punch that the Lithuanians have there at big man.
Well, Motiejunas misses the first with a Shrek fan in the stands and plenty of bearded drummers. Motiejunas, I wouldn't say he was a player that played a lot last year at the Eurobasket, so it looks like his role is increased here.
He's still a very young player with a lot of upside.
Abercrombie now started by Matulis. Lowe catches it back to Abercrombie. And Abercrombie flies in there, but finds a wall of Lithuanian defenders.
That was the interior defense. Some big bodies there for the Lithuanians. Very difficult shot for Abercrombie to finish. He's going to have to maybe be a little bit smarter and just make a jump stop and shoot a short jumper.
Valančiūnas hands it off to Saboudis. And now to Valančiūnas. Saboudis. And the rebound. Saw Motiejunas boxing out, but it goes back over to New Zealand.
And that was a mismatch right there, because for a moment there was Kirk Benning. You see right at the fight for the rebound, and a great box out there at the last moment by Mika Bukonen.
Penny passes over to Abercrombie. He was denied in his first attempt at the basket. Now Vukona tries to dump it down low to Rob Lowe, so Lithuania defensively looks strong.
He took just too much time telegraphing that pass underneath. If you throw a lob pass, you just gotta throw it immediately.
Saboudis. Oh, beautiful pass to Motiejunas.
And that's Ronaldo Seibutis. He's going to take it in, but he was looking for a better position teammate with Motiejunas. Good finish. But a great pass on that play.
Now bounce pass to Webster, and Webster's pass, there's no one to receive it.
But did you see how Lithuania is just back in the middle? It's very difficult to make a pass for Ty Webster. This was the play. He's so smart. I mean, he doesn't force anything. He understands that his team needs him more for the passing than the offensive skills and scoring.
And Motiejunas, his pass not handled, but the ball ends up in the hands of Lithuania, and Valančiūnas goes up for the dunk.
High percentage shots by Jonas Valančiūnas.
But quickly to the other end is Ty Webster.
And that's what Lithuania's got to watch, the athletic ability of New Zealand, especially Ty Webster or his brother off the bench.
And it's not often, George, that Lithuania doesn't want to run, but really, without Kaunietis, they don't run as well. And you have to say that maybe New Zealand are a better fast-breaking team in this encounter. Saboudis, though, drives right down the lane.
There's going to be a better interior defense. Rob Lowe really is going to have to step it up, at least challenge the shot.
Lowe hands it off to Abercrombie, and Motiejunas with the long arms and the rebound. He's very active early.
Absolutely no chance for an offensive rebound there for New Zealand.
Chance of Lietuva for Lithuania. Motiejunas and Valančiūnas just too big, just reaches up even though he was boxed out by Vukona, but quickly is Webster. He gets the ball in the corner. Pulls up for the jumper. Good! Well, he's feeling it early.
Look at Ty Webster. I mean, he looks extremely comfortable there on the floor. That was a smart play. He just didn't rush anything. Stopped there a little bit behind the free throw line and made a nice jumper. He's really matured in the tournament.
Matulis for three. And the long rebound out to Lowe. Vukona. Rob Lowe passes over to Abercrombie, who again puts up a three. Rob Lowe for the follow. And Rob Lowe missed the easiest of layups.
I cannot believe that Rob Lowe just missed that one. There was nobody around him to challenge the shot. He's just got to make that.
Yeah, there've been passages of play where he's been good, but Rob Lowe, I think, will probably get a lot better as his career goes on. Kazlauskas marching the sidelines for Lithuania. Or pacing. And Vukona drives in and draws the foul.
Mika Vukona, I would say heart and soul of the team, also brains. I mean, pushes everybody to play at such a high energy level that he is invaluable for the team. It's very important for Mika Vukona to stay out of foul trouble because he really does provide the toughness that nobody else can provide.
Well, the size disadvantage is striking. New Zealand, it looks more so in this game than any other they played, even against the United States and Turkey.
But you know what is most striking? The way that the Tall Blacks can handle themselves on the boards. Even in that preparation game that you spoke about against Lithuania, they out-rebounded Lithuania by 14, 41-27. So this has been a quality of the Tall Blacks that has not been expected by many with an undersized team like that.
Vukona has had some struggles at the free throw line in the tournament, and he makes just 1 of 2. Juskevicius passes to Sabutis, now inside to Motiejunas, and Vukona commits the foul, and we might see a substitution here.
Well, I think that we're going to have to see a double because on a single coverage, I think this is almost impossible for this is Kalnietis, who will just operate it on with his shoulder.
And you can see that every game that he shows up to watch with Lithuania is just frustration because he wants to be out there.
He wants to be out there, but I think it's a great sign of camaraderie that he traveled here to Spain after surgery. That was performed in Kaunas, Lithuania. The prognosis is good. He's going to recover, but it's going to take some time.
But on the other hand, he has traveled to first Gran Canaria, and now he's in Barcelona. It's not like he's really roughing it, is he? It's a great place to visit. Just 1 of 2, but ball goes out, and Masiulis has got blood dripping down his face.
Wow.
He's going to have to come out of the game. He must have caught some type of elbow, or we'll have to look and see. He's the type of player
Very
that will stick
hard-nosed
his
player.
nose in where it's not wanted. But watch what happens. He comes in against Vukona. Oh, no, it was Abercrombie that got him as he was coming down.
With the right elbow.
And so it's a blow.
I think that's going to require a few stitches right there.
Well, Yasitis has come into the game.
I think the Lithuanian team doctor is just coming over to check on things.
Well, the breakage in play now it comes back. Vukona gets the steal, and Penny puts up a 3, and it rims out. And Abercrombie, whose elbow caught Masiulis, commits the foul on Valanciunas.
And they just got to be careful with Kirk Penny. He was just wide open on that shot. You don't want to get him going. He hasn't shot a shot. It was his first shot in the game. A miss. We really have not seen Kirk Penny in a super shooting form. Would you agree, Jeff, in the tournament?
No, not at all, although he's had a lot of pressure on him. A foul is called on Kirk Penny there, so a couple of quick fouls. 4 team fouls on New Zealand. Yasitis has come in for Masiulis.
But look at the team defense of New Zealand. They bring it up at least a little bit there. Now they back off.
His pass. Now remember, they don't have the natural playmaker without Kalnietis. Sabutis. And the pass intercepted by Vukona. How much is this affecting them with Kalnietis? I mean, can you get a read on it here in the early going?
Extremely difficult. I mean, but they have managed in the tournament. They won the group. Their group. So I think they have managed. That's Machulis coming off the floor. I think he's going to have to get a few stitches right there. I mean, there's no question about it, the way he was bleeding. But let's hope that he gets back to play.
Lithuania have called the timeout. They've lost Masiulis to the elbow. I think it was inadvertent from Abercrombie when he was crashing the boards, but Masiulis has had to go out of the game. See the huge flag that always follows this Lithuania national team.
Looking at the stats, we see 0 for 3 for both teams there from the three-point line, and I have to wonder if Palau San-Jordi, which is a huge stadium here, has got a little bit of an impact on the shooters, because in the 2 games that we saw yesterday, the shooters outside of the United States also found it very difficult to find their mark.
Everybody but Steph Curry. He was 6 of 9.
And this is the influence that Jonas Valanciunas can have on the game. I said before, if he gets the ball close to the basket, it is almost a sure basket. In the pregame, I said he's shooting 76% from the field. What an impressive field goal percentage.
So the two youngsters for Lithuania still in the game, and Motiejunas and Valanciunas 4.5 minutes in. But New Zealand right where they want to be. Casey Frank puts up a long jumper.
There's a little bit more of a muscle and toughness there with Casey Frank now for New Zealand. He's going to go against Valanciunas.
Juskevicius, and a couple of early shots in those offenses for Lithuania.
And immediately there was a clash between Casey Frank and Valanciunas on the box out.
And it goes over to Vakona for a mid-range jumper. He scraps for the ball, gets it back. And the hustle of Vakona keeps it in New Zealand's hands. Quickly, Abercrombie goes in, more contact, and they are really finding it difficult to shoot over those Lithuanian interior players.
Absolutely, the size difference just really plays a role right now. The penetration by Abercrombie, that was the second time that he went in there. He almost couldn't see a basket. Just kind of threw it up where he thought the basket was. And that's the second foul right there on Mika Vakona. That could be a big-time problem there for New Zealand and Coach Vucinic.
Well, Vasilauskas is going to come into the game for Juskevicius. Vasilauskas, number 15, and Fotu is in the game for New Zealand. So he comes in for Vakona.
And let's see how he does, because he was really a huge factor. I already said it many times here during the broadcast. And if he can pick up where he left off, it's going to be a big addition there to New Zealand.
Part of the game that see Corey Webster also coming in for New Zealand. Valanciunas has got to make his free throws as his career goes on.
And I think now New Zealand also is going to have to play smart, because they already have 5 team fouls. So any foul from now on for Lithuania is going to be a free throw.
Casey Frank at midcourt. Lithuania not really getting much joy. Excuse me, New Zealand not getting much joy inside. Now Webster.
You know what's also amazing, that 11 players on the Lithuanian squad are averaging more than 10 minutes. That just completely tells you that the minutes are evenly distributed. So what I'm thinking, this could also be a big edge for Lithuania, that none of the Lithuanian players should be tired.
A foul was called on Vasilauskas. Now Fotu hands it off. Webster. And really, there's no semblance of an inside attack for New Zealand at this point.
And New Zealand has been dominant on offensive boards, but they haven't had a chance in the game today. I mean, Lithuania are doing a hell of a job in boxing out.
Valanciunas thinks about it, puts up a long jumper. Good. Well,
that's a bonus right there if Valanciunas is going to make a long jumper like that.
Valanciunas is in the game for Lithuania. Now Casey Frank. From the corner, Corey Webster. Well, they're going to have to make some jumpers themselves to open things up.
Absolutely, because you saw what was happening there on the penetration. So this is a very important outside shot by Corey Webster.
Sabonis. Over it goes to Vasilauskas, and he hits the three.
Look at Vasilauskas just coming from with a limited international experience with playing in Poland, in Sopot, and just making a big three right there.
Kurt Penny gets it back to Frank, and Valanciunas with both hands comes down with a rebound.
That was a wild shot right there by Casey Frank.
Already an 8-point lead for Lithuania. Jankunas gets in with the hook shot, banks it in.
Oh, he got lucky on that shot, but Lithuania is going to take it. It's going to be a timeout there for New Zealand, because it's a double-digit lead, the biggest of the game, 7-17.
Yep. No Misiulis, no problemo.
Pay attention to scout things, boys. We don't listen, we don't be paying the price. Okay? Left fingers are beating us to the left. Right? You don't help off that corner.
The story of the game till now, it seems to be the scoring in the paint, or the ability of the Lithuanians to get close to the basket. And it's 8 points in the paint for Lithuania, only 2 for New Zealand. Also, points after turnovers.
And the
6.
rebounding.
We expected New Zealand to continue in their effort when they have been able to out-rebound every single opponent they played, besides the United States. It hasn't happened so far as Lithuania holds an edge there in the rebounding department, 10-7. Jeff, looking at the points after turnovers, 6 for Lithuania and 0 there for New Zealand.
Here's Jankunas with that basket, which led to the timeout for New Zealand. Now, he was injured last year and couldn't play, so his return has been important. Remember, he was huge 4 years ago when they got to the podium.
And I think that he's got a big motivation. I know Jankunas, he's an extremely motivated player, but sat out most of the year last year with an injury. And now he's coming back, so I think that he's rested, and he just wants to show he can get back in the top form as early as possible.
Webster picked up his dribble. Potsius has come into the game, one of the veterans for Lithuania, Martynas Potsius. Webster, and misses, gets his own rebound. Kirk Penny finds that he's open, and the ball just will not drop for Kirk Penny.
Again, he had a wide open look there on at the basket, just couldn't make it.
Potsius. Now into Valanciunas. Valanciunas, and the push on Potsius, I believe.
But a good execution there offensively by the Lithuanians. They ran high pick and roll. Valanciunas rose to the basket. They found him underneath. He just was not able to finish the play one-on-one. Let's see it right here. Again, close to the basket against Casey Frank, who doesn't have a chance to block the shot. But Valanciunas misses it, and there was a foul there on the offensive rebound by Marty Butchus.
Wasn't too much in it there for Potsius, to be fair, but he was close, and they called him for the push. Darius Lavrinovic also has come into the game for Lithuania. And right now, it's all coming from the perimeter for New Zealand, and those shots aren't falling.
And there's no offensive rebounding. I think that the All Blacks is going to go back to their active offensive rebounding.
Lavrinovic sets the pick. Vasilauskas now with 8 on the shot clock. Lavrinovic, good!
And the coaches spoke about the Lavrinovic brothers as the revelation of the tournament. They have been invaluable for the team with their outside shooting and smart play. They can be very effective defensively because they are mobile big men, so they can switch on their pick and roll situations.
And it's interesting that they would be a revelation because they've been around for a long time. That experience factor for them is probably very important. Corey Webster, good. New Zealand right now just trying to stay within touch.
Finally he hits the shot, but look at that, 20 points scored by Lithuania in 9 minutes of play. I think that New Zealand just really going to have to tighten up the defense if they want to have a chance in this game.
Potsius for 3, good!
Oh, they're raining threes right now. This spells trouble there for New Zealand.
Ty Webster, over to Fotu. Penny, back to Fotu. Now Corey Webster. 7 on the shot clock. Frank. And the pass intercepted or batted away by Jankunas.
Did you see the hands of Lithuanian players? The way they pack the interior, it's almost impossible to pass the ball across the defense.
That's the final 20 seconds here of the opening quarter. Lithuania in command. Turnover.
That was a rare mistake there by Vasilauskas.
So Ty Webster's going to try to hold it for 1. Webster can create. Gives it back to Frank for 3. And that basket has a lid on it right now. A long attempt. Almost goes in from Vasilauskas. That would have been the icing on the cake for Lithuania, but as it is, they lead it 23-9, 10 minutes into the game.
Looking at the stats, that really is a lid on the basket for New Zealand. They need their outside shooting to cut the game close and get back into the game, but they are 0 for 8 there from the three-point line. Lithuania holding surprisingly an edge on rebounding. We said before that New Zealand has been a revelation in the tournament as far as rebounding was concerned. They're going to have to find a way to get offensive rebounds.
And how do you contend with Jonas Valanciunas? He just looks better this year.
Well, but I have not really seen any double team from New Zealand. And we saw it in Bilbao. They just really led their guys to play one-on-one defense in the post. But if you have such a high caliber quality players as Lithuania has, I think that at some point in the game, you're just going to have to go to a double team.
Clearly the issue with Lithuania remains the guard play and how they are going to function without Kalnietis. They're functioning okay today.
Hey, I mean, Jeff, I think they're taking it just game at a time. And you're in the knockout stage in the top 16. You're just going to concentrate on the opponent. That's New Zealand right now. I think they have proven by finishing in the first place in the group stage. And today coming out very impressive, taking a 14-point lead after first quarter. They are managing just fine. I mean, let's not forget this is a sixth game that they are playing without Kalnietis, so I think that the adjustment has been made. I give a lot of credit to Ronaldo Seibutis. I think that he has really taken a step back from being a scorer, and he understands that he needs to provide some playmaking for the team. He's experienced. He's been on the national team for the longest. He's been on the international stage in Europe, so he's a player who can just step in.
The FIBA Basketball World Cup round of 16 game between New Zealand and Lithuania. And you can see right now it is going the way of the international heavyweights. Lithuania on top 23-9. And Lindsay Tate has entered the game along with BJ Anthony.
Everett Bartlett also.
Everett Bartlett, yeah, looking for a solution. And Webster, Corey Webster, his shot, and really the rebounding is just getting worse and worse.
And I thought that BJ Anthony had a good rebounding position there, but just Lavrinovic, too tall, just reaches right over him.
Potsius over to Lavrinovic. Potsius for three. And Lavrinovic, I think, is going to be guilty of the push-off.
That's in Lavrinovic.
He was definitely using his arm to push off that time.
You have to respect Lithuania, the way they're running their offense. Yeah, there's no question about that. Marty Potsius is not happy about missing the three, and Lavrinovic will picking up the foul, but Lithuania really running through their offense.
Tate. Now Fotu for three. Good! Well, I'll tell you what, the confidence is there for that kid.
And Kozlauskas is visibly upset about this. You don't want this player to hit his first shot because then he can get his confidence going and it could be very dangerous.
I mean, of all the players that would come out and steady things, Fotu, the youngster. And from the corner, no good. Ball goes out of bounds, but it's going to be Lithuania ball.
Very active Simas Jasaitis on the offensive board. He's a tall player there at the small forward position. He's known as a spot-up shooter. Look at the three-pointer by Fotu. I thought he was pretty closely guarded there by Jankunas. He just made a tough shot. Look at that one more time. What a follow-through. Right there, he just steps into it.
Potsius, and Potsius takes it back up to a 14-point lead.
And that would be a three-pointer number 5 there for Lithuania, who are really shooting it well.
So they put up a lot of threes during the course of any game.
And they are averaging 41% for the tournament behind the arc.
Lindsay Tate with 5 on the shot clock, goes behind his back, hands it over to Fotu, steps in, and BJ Anthony pushes off on Lavrinovic.
That was the same call like on the other side, just didn't have the rebounding position, used his arms too much, and an easy call there for the referees to make. BJ Anthony, a very physical player. I think he's going to have to make an impact right away to stay on the floor defensively.
Is back into the game as well, number 5 for Lithuania. Bounce pass inside to Seibutis, and New Zealand dodged a bullet there.
That was a great pass for Seibutis underneath the basket. He just didn't make an easy layup.
Corey Webster from the corner. Good.
He gets going.
That was a 2.
That's a third shot that he has made. Well, now they're saying it's a three-pointer, so.
It was a 3 or it was not?
I think the announcers say it was a 3, but they added only 2 points.
Jaskevicius gets inside.
So he probably was a long 2-pointer.
I think it was a 2. Back to a 14-point advantage, and Montiunas will come back into the contest. So Keselowski, you can see talking to Montiunas there above the LTU, the 28, keeping his players fresh by rotating them. Webster, good. That's a 3.
Wow, look at Corey Webster. That's point number 9 for him, and he's really picking up the scoring slack there for New Zealand.
We saw him do that against Turkey. He had a big game, 22 points. He has the ability to put up big numbers. Potsius, bounce pass. Yankunas and BG Anthony, this time only white shirts.
But to me, this is all about defense. If New Zealand wants to get back, they just have to make things happen defensively.
Fotu pops out. And the 20-year-old hands it off to Bartlett. Hasn't had any space yet to launch a 3. 8 on the shot clock. Fotu gets into the lane and scores, and it's an and 1 coming for the 20-year-old Isaac Fotu.
What a great play by Isaac Fotu. He fakes the 3, gets his defender a little bit off the ground, and aggressively takes it to the basket. He's able to take the contact and finish the play. Look at it one more time right here. That's good basketball right here. That's smart. He didn't rush anything. He doesn't really play like a 20-year-old in the last 3 games.
He is a rainbow warrior. Hawaii putting all that NCAA experience to good use here.
But he doesn't really get emotional. I mean, we've seen him make some spectacular plays in the last 2 games in the group play, and he just stays under control emotionally.
Yep. Same demeanor. Never changes his expression except during the haka. Potsius drives in, and the follow from Montiunas was just out of his reach. Lindsey Tate back to Corey Webster. Corey Webster just needs a little bit of space. Fotu hands it off to Bartlett. Bartlett has yet to try one, see if he launches one. Here's Corey Webster, pump fake. 7 on the shot clock. Webster has to drive in, and the foul called on, I believe, Lithuania.
But I think Lithuania is playing very good defense. I mean, they maintain the players in front of them for a good 18, 19 seconds. But at the end, Corey Webster was just able to penetrate the defense. Look at that one more time. I mean, he just takes a beating, but he's able to go in.
So Sabunis picks up the foul.
That's the first one for him.
So no free throws awarded. 3 fouls on Lithuania in the quarter. And Montiunas with the rebound.
That was a wide open 3-pointer after the inbound play to Isaac Fotu.
Yasitis. Sabunis, good!
He's a scorer. I told you before, Jeff, this is his role in Lietuvos Rytas when he plays for his club in Lithuania.
Inside to Anthony, and he answers.
That's a quick basket right there. And Jonas Kozlauskas, the coach of Lithuania, cannot believe it. You gotta play some transition defense. The Tall Blacks will be looking to run.
Lithuania on top right now. The question is, can they deliver the telling blows? Montiunas, Valanciunas though, and nobody boxed out Valanciunas.
Just physically dominant. I mean, you got Montiunas driving down the lane. If he misses, there's Jonas Valanciunas with the offensive rebound. Great job by him.
This past season, the NBA was really important for him. Anthony for 3.
Oh, that is not his shot. BJ Anthony is more of an inside player. I don't believe he even took that 3. I don't think we've seen him taking too many 3-pointers in the tournament.
You'd like Fotu to get a touch. And the pass, a foul.
And you saw the action right there. There was a pick there between the 2 big fellas of Lithuania. It was Valanciunas, I believe, who went down to set a pick for Montiunas. He popped up. Valanciunas seals the player in the lane. Look at it right here. You see it right here. He seals him. There's nothing to do. Look at the big target. Look at his arm. He's demanding the ball. This is so difficult to guard. The guards just gotta help. They gotta help. There's no way for Isaac Fotu to hold his own if he gets pinned underneath the basket.
Well, Frank is in the game now with Vukona.
Oh, that's a scrappy lineup right there.
Yeah, they're going to try to up the scrappiness, but Valanciunas just takes it over.
What can you do? I mean, if you're KC Frank and you got Jonas Valanciunas posting you up 2 meters from the basket, I think you have great disadvantage.
Tate back to Vukona. Over to Frank. Pump fake. Bartlett. And Frank hustles for the rebound. Penny.
Good job by Casey Frank to chase down the long rebound.
Frank at the line, looking for Vukona to go to the basket. Gets it inside, and gets pinned by Valanciunas. Valanciunas is dominating on both ends of the floor.
I mean, he is so dominant right there. Jonas Valanciunas just comes in there, pins the ball to the backboard. No chance for Vukona to score that basket. He was surrounded by 3 defenders. You see the 3 jerseys? I thought that Vukona, with his smarts, was going to pass it out to open shooter.
Well, this is the most dominating display. You saw an elbow.
Look at the elbow. Yeah, right there. It was coming at the end of the play. Jonas Valanciunas just said, no way, not in my house right here.
Here again is the pin on the backboard, and see if you can see the elbow at the end of the play. Great camera work.
Look at Seibutis at the point guard. It's a little bit bigger lineup there for the Lithuanians on the perimeter.
Motiejunas with a old-fashioned hook shot.
That was beautiful right there. I mean, again, no double team from New Zealand. So Lithuania goes down to their big guys and they take advantage. 15-point lead for Lithuania, 36-21.
I don't know what New Zealand can do to combat the clear, it's not just the size advantage, just the overall power of that Lithuanian front line is dominating. Look inside at that shooting percentage of Lithuania.
That is mind-blowing right there at 63%, but they're also shooting well from the outside, so they keep the defense honest. But I think, anyway, Jeff, you have to second best team in the 3-point percentage. Yeah, that's what I say, 41% from 3. 41%. Anytime that you shoot over 41%, and hold on, you have such a dominant force there on the inside. This is a perfect balance. You have Valanciunas, Motiejunas on the inside, but he's shooting the ball so well. And this is the drive by Motiejunas, offensive rebound. What can you do? I mean, this is just so difficult. But anyway, I think New Zealand just gonna have to try it. They cannot allow Valanciunas in this time to go against Casey Frank and just bulldozer him over and go for an easy 2. That's easy for him. He's got such a size advantage in height and in weight. They're gonna go all night to their big guys if New Zealand doesn't change anything.
And it's not just Valanciunas, when you consider that Motiejunas is a force inside as well as both Lavrinoviches. And even though Masiulis is a very important player for Lithuania has gone out of the game, it doesn't look like they miss him in the slightest.
There you saw Vukona driving the ball, but again he was challenged, almost blocked by Valanciunas, missed it badly.
This is where they have to really tighten up defensively and also on the boards. Trying to do a little bit of trap. Decidis, though, dribbles out of it. Look at Motiejunas just reach over and get the ball, but somehow New Zealand come up with a steal. Webster gets into the lane and makes the pass. Lithuania were ready for that pass back to the perimeter.
That was a little bit of a wild play on the fast break by the Lithuanians. Jankuna is going to check back into the game for Motiejunas. You see, this is what I was talking about. I played for 2 seasons there for Coach Kazlauskas. Here we see the replay. That was a good reach by Ty Webster. He just knocks it out of the hands of Motiejunas. But anytime that you make a small mistake, Coach Kazlauskas is going to let you know. He's going to pull you aside and just talk to you.
Juskavicius. And foul called on New Zealand.
No, I think
on
it's
Lithuania.
Yeah, it's on Valanciunas right there in the reach.
Valanciunas, that's only his first.
They got just tangled up, but you cannot blame Valanciunas to go after the offensive rebound. He's been a huge force there for Lithuania, so he's going to try every time down.
10 points, 9 rebounds for Valanciunas. One of the dominating halves that we've seen. Webster and Vukona fouled by Jankunas as he goes up. So that's going to be free throws now because New Zealand needs something And Lithuania have committed 5.
And that was a missed assignment right there. You see the shot taken from the 3. Good job by Vukona to be in the right place at the right time, but a missed assignment. But I believe it was Jankunas just didn't box out.
It is an uphill battle right now for New Zealand. And Vukona has had his struggles at the free throw line.
But I think that you would agree with me that after watching the Tall Blacks 5 times in Bilbao, they're not going to give up.
Vukona has shot just 53% in the tournament coming into this game.
Yeah, he has struggled. We watched him really struggle there in Bilbao. He gets a lot of scrappy offensive rebounds. He was fouled a lot because he draws a lot of contact. He even brings the ball up the court. So when he gets to the free throw, unfortunately for him and New Zealand, he hasn't been as effective.
Second is good, so he concentrates and sinks both with 2:15 remaining.
I think this is
first half.
Very important last 2 minutes of the first half because New Zealand has to keep a close contact there to the Lithuanians.
Over to Putsius, and this allows New Zealand a chance to run. Penny and traveling, and you can see the desperation to get out of the fast break and get points, but Lithuania get back on defense.
But what a great concentration by the Lithuanians. You saw 3 Lithuanian players after a missed shot and a fast break at 10 by New Zealand to get back. Look at 3 jerseys right there. I mean, you gotta be loving it if Jonas Kazlauskas. Your players are really focused. They are getting back on defense. This is very important. You want to stop all the easy baskets there for New Zealand, and you want them to come down and play the 5-on-5 grind.
Yasaitis gets it inside now. Sabutis has it, and Lithuania almost turned it over for the shot clock. Webster, they don't want to bail him out with a foul. Oh, there was contact, but nothing was called. Now Vukona pushes it up the floor. It's a 13-point game. Vukona gets inside, and Vukona now able to assert himself.
He got an angle right there and a great pass on the inside. He had a size advantage over Marty Putsius. So it's a timeout. I mean,
and George, as bad as it's been for New Zealand, they're only down by 11. So as the end of the first half gets closer, Lithuania called a timeout.
it is not a bad situation there for New Zealand. I said very important for them to finish strong. You want to keep contact with Lithuania. You don't want to go into the locker room with a 15 or 18-point deficit. Then it is extremely difficult at this level to climb out of a hole like that.
Yeah, I mean, if they could get another stop, get another basket, get just a little bit of momentum.
And I'm sure this is what Coach Vucinic, coach of New Zealand, is talking about. He says, like, guys, let's not think about the deficit at the moment, if it's double digit or not. We just have to take it one stop at a time and one offense at a time. Let's play our basketball. We just want to stay with it.
The man in black, wasn't that the guy sitting next to you on the plane?
And he was extremely tired, yeah. I was sitting next to him in a full bodysuit. Look at Mika Vukona right here finishing a play. That was good basketball by him. Just didn't wait for anything, because I think if you wait for too long, you're gonna get your shot blocked or you're gonna get in trouble. So Mika Vukona realizing that and just immediately going out with the contact with his left hand. This is a big defensive position here for New Zealand. If they can defend the ball well, get a rebound, they could cut it down to single digits.
So you see 1:17 remaining in the first half. And see if Lithuania can execute something coming out of the timeout. Jankunas catches it pretty far away from the basket, back to Sabutis. Sabutis drives to Jankunas, and Jankunas walks.
He was expecting a lot of contact there, which he got later on, but he just took one step too many. That was a good drop pass there after pick and roll situation. Just Jankunas wasn't ready to catch it. Or
Fotu's come back in, so another option for New Zealand offensively, both with his penetration and his jump shooting. Here he is, back to the basket, gets in, spins, denied by Jankunas, and it goes back over to Lithuania.
again, Jankunas and Valančiūnas, just such two big bodies. They keep control. They stay under control underneath the basket. And it's extremely difficult for New Zealand to get anything going if they get a 5-on-5 possession play to go to the basket.
Yankunis takes his seat. Motiejunas back in. Motiejunas, and Penny read that pass and intercepted it.
That was a sloppy pass there by Botius. He just got to put more power on that, because I thought Motiejunas had a good position there.
There's 3-second differential here, so we'll see if New Zealand can hold it for one. Over to Webster. And Fotu turns it over, so shaky finish to the first half for Fotu.
I thought he had a good look there. I thought he was going to take the three. Look at it right here. I thought that Botius was just I will say Botius, I'm sorry, he was recovering at the last moment.
Well, Yankunis didn't feel like he traveled. I didn't really see one there, but could be that he picked up his foot.
Last 10 seconds right here of the first half. Let's see what the Lithuanians do.
Pontius will try to bring it up the floor.
New Zealand got a foul to give.
And Lavrinovic commits the foul on Fotu, and that is really a boneheaded play, isn't it?
That is a mental mistake by Lavrinovic. I mean, he immediately puts his hands back. Coach Kazlauskas is shaking his head and cannot believe it, but it was obviously a foul right there. Look at that one more time. The ball just slips out of his hands, and this is a clear foul on Isaac Fotu. I mean, they just clashed.
It's a natural. I think the way they play, it's naturally to foul to prevent the fast break, but not with 1 second.
I mean, you gotta realize how much time is left on the clock. Exactly, Jeff.
Fotu at the line, and just a little bit of a little more hope for New Zealand.
No, you know how important it is to go to the locker room. If he makes his free throws, they're gonna go to the locker room only with a 9-point deficit. That's gonna be huge.
Well, he misses, and Pontius. His shot is off target, so it's a 10-point game. Could have been worse. Could have been maybe even a little bit better. But as it is, New Zealand trailing Lithuania 36-26. And you see, we've talked about the inside game of Lithuania.
Very dominant on the inside for the Lithuanians. This was the game plan, just go in and pound it inside and score from the block. We look at New Zealand, they are out-rebounded, which we have not seen in the tournament at all, but also they are struggling from the three-point line. And I don't know if you believe it or not, but Kirk Penny has been held scoreless. He's got 0 points at the moment. And that preparation game against Lithuania that we spoke before, the high score is 10 points for Valanciunas and 9 for Corey Webster.
10 and 9 for Valanciunas, who is almost on a double-double.
Exactly. I mean, he's having a monster game with a huge impact. But Kirk Penny in that preparation game, 26 points he had against Lithuania only weeks ago, and I think that Lithuania has learned their lessons. They are just really keeping a close eye there on Kirk Penny.
Well, and there you see the defensive stats for both teams. So we're at halftime. It's Lithuania leading at 36-26 over New Zealand. 36-26, Lithuania on top of New Zealand here in the round of 16 at the FIBA Basketball World Cup in the Palau Sant-Jordi in Barcelona. So these Lithuanian fans wearing Lietuva, which is Lithuanian, the language, and all of their fans, looks like they think they've got a great chance of hanging around in Barcelona for a while. The Tall Blacks maybe gave themselves a chance with a little bit of good play in the final minute and a half. They're only down 10, but they've still got a lot of work to do, and it's hard to see how they're going to find success if Valanciunas continues the type of play that he showed in the first half, George.
Well, if I'm looking at New Zealand, I think that they closed off the first half with a positive 2 minutes of play when they reduced the deficit of 15 to only 10. I think that was a positive impulse for them to go to the locker room. I think in the second half they just really need to find their mark from the three-point line, and they need to slow down or find a way to slow down the Lithuanian interior attack. Lithuania has been just too dominant and they've had it too easy. If I look at Lithuania, I think that they have executed their game plan perfectly. They are going inside, they are not rushing things, and they are making it happen. If you look at Valanciunas, almost close to a double-double. He's got 10 points and 9 rebounds. Donatas Motiejunas, the other big man, 6 points and 6 rebounds. I mean, if your big guys are producing in such a way, I don't think there's a big reason to go away from this game plan of pounding the ball inside.
Jonas Maciulis has returned to the bench. You can see he's got his eye bandaged right above his right eye. Now, whether or not he's going to play, we were thinking that he may need stitches, and I'm sure it was definitely not the first time he's received a cut to the face. He's a scrappy player.
I think 2 scorers there for New Zealand who they really need to get going would be Thomas Abercrombie and Kirk Penny, both of them scoreless in the first half. I think this is almost impossible for New Zealand to come back into this game and then win it if these 2 guys don't start producing some points.
It looks like we're going to see starting the second half, Rob Lowe. He was sort of anonymous, really. He started, but he didn't get going. And to be honest, he hasn't really gotten going in the whole tournament.
But they need some minutes out of him. I mean, you cannot expect with the smaller lineup of Casey Frank, who was 37 years old, or Mika Vukona, who is severely undersized, just to manage it by themselves there in the whole second half. So Rob Lowe's going to come out. He's going to have to pick up the intensity, make some hard fouls, and make his presence felt against a lot bigger guys. I understand this is not easy for him, but he's got 20 minutes to show that he belongs into the big leagues here in Barcelona, Spain.
Well, it's the FIBA Basketball World Cup. It's the round of 16 game. Lithuania and New Zealand. Lithuania on top. It's the beginning of the third quarter. And Juskevicius is running the show here for New Zealand. Point guard. Thought he played pretty well in the first half. He gets it into the big fella, and Valanciunas already.
Look at Rob Lowe. I mean, we called for him to make some hard fouls, and this time he just watches Valanciunas almost to lay it in with a reverse layup. Too easy. You're gonna make some fouls.
Penny for 3, and fouled while shooting the 3, so that's a mistake by Lithuania.
That is a mistake right there, because Kirk Penny just could not buy a shot there in the first half. As we said, he was scoreless, and just Jasaitis commits a very unnecessary foul because the shot was already taken. I mean, that's not going to make Coach Kozlauskas very happy.
Well, Jasaitis is a player who's a great shooter in his own right. Look at that bruise on his left arm. That's amazing, isn't it?
They play some tough basketball here at FIBA Basketball World Cup. A lot of contact we've seen here on the basket. Obviously, it's probably not from the game of today, but that's a big bruise.
And nothing is going right for Kirk Penny. Kaunietis watching his teammates. He picked up the injury late in the preparations. I first saw him play in 2006 in Japan, and he really blossomed in 2010 when they won the bronze medal.
Only 32% for Kirk Penny from the field.
In both inside and outside the arc. He makes the second and the third, so we'll see if that gets him on track. That gets him back to a 10-point game. Motiejunas hands it off and gets it back rather, and puts up an air ball.
That was a wild shot right there. I thought Motiejunas was going all the way.
Now Penny looking for an opening, but it's going to be Abercrombie, and that's the man they need to get going.
So both shooters and scorers that we said that they need to get going. Kirk Penny and Thomas Abercrombie just make their first 4 points there for the Tall Blacks in the second half.
So they're getting going. Down to an 8-point deficit. Here's an opportunity for New Zealand. They need a stop. And when you need a basket, go inside to what works. And they get a foul on Low.
It's been bread and butter there for Lithuania to go down low to Jonas Valanciunas.
But it's like you said, Low has fouls to give. He's only got a couple. Now Yosaitis hands it off. Yaskevicius, and he gets inside and finds the defense too strong from Ty Webster, and Vukona comes in and snatches the ball out of the air. Here's Penny. Over to Abercrombie. Couldn't quite catch it. Had to pass it back outside to Ty Webster. Webster says, move out of the way, guys. Here I come. He's going to put up a three. And the fight from Vukona gets the ball to Abercrombie, and Abercrombie goes up and scores again. So
look at New Zealand. I mean,
this is the New Zealand that we saw in Bilbao.
But did you see they got the offensive rebound? They didn't throw it out to establish the offense. They just immediately went back up. You got to like that if you coach Vucinic.
Now, Ronaldo Sabudas drives in.
And this is his quickness right there that can hurt you. Ronaldo Sabudas is an extremely quick guard if he can turn the corner.
Back to Penny, and offensive foul called against New Zealand. And you can see Yosaitis.
That looks like an injury.
Yeah, hopefully he's okay. I was blocked. My view was blocked from the live action, so we'll see if we can see a replay here. We've already seen Machulis go down. There's Kalnietis. He's injured and out of the tournament, obviously before the tournament. And Lithuania hoping he's okay. And that was Ty Webster setting.
A tough low pick right there with the shoulder. I mean, he just goes there to the rib cage of Simas Yosaitis. I think he's gonna be okay. He's just gonna have to shake it off. But that was a big blow right there. Oh no, they're gonna go for a stretcher. Oh, this is not looking good at all. This could be a broken rib.
Well, hopefully it's not, because that's the worst case scenario in Lithuania. Don't want to lose Yosaitis. I don't think there was any intention from Webster. It's a physical game. I mean, did you see, did he lean too much into with his shoulder?
I don't know, but he just set it really low. I know it's a tough play, but I mean, he just really set it low. He knew he wasn't getting the full body right there.
See Valanciunas. He's talking to Kazlauskas. So Sabudas, Popsius, Mendogas, Kuzminskas is in the game now, as well as Motiejunas. They come over to the bench. And you can see Lithuania trying to keep their concentration here. They realize, we've got to up the ante here, boys. This is a physical game. And thankfully, it looks like Yosaitis is going to be able to walk away.
He might have just knocked the wind out of him too, you know. He's coughing hard, so I think that he must have lost his breath also on that full body. I would say almost full body slam. I mean, incredible.
Well, I don't want to suggest that there would be any type of retaliation, but we certainly get the sense that with Lithuania's players and the looks on their faces that they're not going to shy away from the physical side of the game here as it swings back into action. So Yosaitis out of the game, and Sabudas gets in, puts it up, and Rob Lowe tries to keep Valanciunas out, and now Vukona has the ball.
Vukona just finds a way to get a rebound.
But then Abercrombie just fumbles the ball away.
That's a costly mistake right there. They had a good look and a good chance to go for a fast break.
So Mendogas Kuzminskas, the wiry Kuzminskas, into the game, number 6. Potsius goes baseline, and he is pushed by Webster.
He beat Webster right there, just got past him, and Webster has to commit a foul when he shoved him out of bounds. Ty Webster can just really move his feet. This is
See Machulis with his eye bandaged. You think we'll see him back in the game?
Well, I think he's going to come back if it's necessary for Kazlauskas to put him back.
Now, Valanciunas decides to pass it back out, and the ball batted out to Potsius.
And New Zealand almost had it in their hands, but just somehow got away, and a long rebound for Lithuania.
Sabutis, nowhere to go, and Vakona just takes it away. Quickly in the open floor, bounce pass to Penny, and New Zealand have cut it back to 6 points, and that gets the tall black fans up on their feet.
And I'll tell you what, how valuable is Mika Vakona for New Zealand? I mean, he gets the rebound, goes fast break, makes a great pass, and 2 points for Penny.
Absolutely, doesn't wait to make the outlet, just takes it himself. Entry pass now, Valanciunas, no help. And if he doesn't get help, I don't think he can stop it.
There's absolutely no way for Rob Lowe. We've seen it for 24 minutes for Valanciunas to have his way. They're going to have to double.
And Vakona was very fortunate to get that, but Valanciunas just swats Webster's shot out of bounds.
I mean, he's been a monster there underneath the basket. It's been just like a wall right there, defensive wall called Jonas Valanciunas. What a game he's having.
10
Look
points,
at that.
9 rebounds, 3 blocked shots.
That's right here. Ty Webster. Get it out of here, youngster.
And Valanciunas is going to come out of the game, but one more look at his SWAT. He's on the SWAT team. Now B.J. Anthony into the game for New Zealand. Lavrinovic as well.
They have both Lavrinovic on the floor right now, so let's see how they change the game.
Vakona and Abercrombie passes it back. Penny for 3. Off the front of the rim.
That was a long three-pointer by Kirk Penny.
Well, I think he's so desperate to get a shot off, and Lavrinovic scores quickly.
And Vakona just got caught up there trying to get an offensive rebound that he just didn't have enough time to get back on defense. His teammates got to help him after what he's providing for them, for him.
B.J. Anthony over to Webster. 5 on the shot clock. They find B.J. Anthony driving in. Great find by Kirk Penny.
That was a good find because New Zealand was moving the ball around the perimeter, and then somehow they found a way to go in.
Well, if you're double teamed, somebody's got to be open. In the corner now, Kuzminskas gets in the lane and fouled by Penny. They're going to count it.
Oh, that's a big play by Kuzminskas. He's the least used player there by Kazlauskas on the team. He's the only player from the 12 that is averaging less than 10 minutes, and he makes a big play right here. Kirk Penny is not happy about it. He knows he should have fouled him harder. He's beat right here, but Kuzminskas got the strength, and it's all about size because Kuzminskas is well over 2 meters tall, and as you said, he's long and wiry.
Well, they've got size in abundance, Lithuania. Now Abercrombie comes out of the game, and Corey Webster in. He breaks the free throw, and Ty Webster. So at least Lithuania didn't give away the 3-point. New Zealand didn't give away the 3-point play. Penny might be able to take Kuzminskas off the dribble. Now Webster. B.J. Anthony. And B.J. Anthony fouled by Lavrinovic.
That's a block right there.
Darius Lavrinovic.
He lifts his hand. It was clear to him. He was beat by B.J. Anthony. Just moved his feet a little bit slower. Look at that one more time. Oh, that was the help side. Yeah, it was Krzysztof who got beat, and Darius Lavrinovic just steps in there to help him, but commits the foul.
Penny goes behind his back and draws the foul on Kuzminskas.
Never easy for Kirk Penny because you got Kuzminskas against you, who's got the size advantage. He's taller, but he can still move his feet. He's got extremely long arms. Look at that right here. Almost a block there for Kuzminskas. Just a little bit of a body contact there before the shot was taken.
You can see what he thought of that foul. Plays here in Spain with was last season with Unicaja Malaga, Kuzminskas. That's also where Domas Sabonis, the son of Lithuania legend Arvydas, played this, well, for the past few years. He's going to be going to Gonzaga. Kirk Penny makes both. So New Zealand doing a decent job of staying within striking distance at this stage. Kuzminskas battles for position, and the offensive foul called on Kuzminskas.
Oh, that is a tough break for him right there, because he's got a big-time advantage on the block against Kirk Penny, and they were looking for it.
And I think Keselowskis was upset because they could have made the pass sooner.
I think that the angle was poor too, because they were passing it from high-low. I think that you always try to create a better passing angle by taking few dribbles to the sideline.
New Zealand with an opportunity. How many chances are they going to have to cut into this Lithuania lead? Vukona over to Corey Webster. And Lavrinovic, Kishtof Lavrinovic with the rebound. Jaskevicius over to Darius Lavrinovic. He gets into the lane and draws the foul from Vukona.
He was well fouled by Vukona. There was no question about it. He just touched his shooting arm there when he made a turnout jumper. Look at that one more time. He's got good 10 centimeters advantage him in height. And Darius Lavrinovic just did not wait for anything. I mean, he felt a mismatch and just went immediately to work on the one-on-one situation.
But they're going to miss the scrappiness of Vukona, who goes to the bench with 3 fouls. But
they got to save him for a few minutes, but I'm sure that he's going to go back into the game in a short span of time. Already matching his tournament average here of 8 points. Now he's up to 9 points. I'm sorry, he's up to 7 points, so just right on his tournament average.
Corey Webster over to Penny. Fotu sets the pick. Nope, rolls into the corner. Fotu thought about it, and he does put it up, and it's good.
That is a soft touch right there. I mean, he sized up the defender. Darius Lavrinovic just took a jab step at him and just came back and shot a nice medium-range jumper.
Three-pointer from Darius Lavrinovic, and he's really on it right now.
And this is what Lithuanian coaches and the media have been talking about, the possibility of a shooting threat from the outside if you have the Lavrinovic brothers on the court.
Penny for 3.
That's 0 for 4 for Kirk Penny, and he is really frustrated. He just cannot find his mark. He's well pressured by Kuzminskas, though. He's playing good job defensively, and that's why I think he made 2 mistakes, Kuzminskas, and he's still on the floor just because of the defense.
Kirk Penny takes a seat, and Casey Frank into the game.
Oh, that's a big lineup there for New Zealand. Look at Casey Frank, BJ Anthony, and Fotu.
Sabutis, though, gets inside and has a chance for a 3-point play.
I cannot believe that Fotu didn't come to challenge the shot. He just kind of watched it right there. But Sabutis too late. Did you see that? He didn't come from the weak side. He was just watching. That was a poor defensive play by Fotu. He's right there, and he gets out of the way. Do you believe that?
Yeah, Valanciunas would have gone up and pinned that on the board.
Or at least made a hard foul. And this is not good because the lead is up to 13 points. And if Sabutis can complete a 3-point play, it's going to be up to 14.
So Lithuania, New Zealand had the ball down 8 points, but weren't able to get closer. Now Lithuania have taken it back to a 14-point advantage. Corey Webster floats in, it's good.
That's a solid take right there by Corey Webster, and he's the top scorer there for the Tall Blacks with 11 points in 15 minutes. He's been able to find an angle and to go on the inside. Of course, now he's got it a lot easier with Lavrinovic brothers there playing defense instead of Valanciunas and Moteunas.
Sabutis puts it up, and Fotu with the rebound.
That was a strong rebound by Fotu. I was expecting the same challenge there on the block on the last play.
Fotu up top. Now B.J. Anthony hands it back off to Ty Webster. Ty Webster puts up a jumper. It's good, nothing but the bottom of the net there.
That is a nice athletic play by Ty Webster. He just completely creates his own shot from a three. What a play.
Lavrinovic fouled by Frank, so that's going to be free throws for Lithuania.
And here you see the experience of Krzysztof Lavrinovic. He sees Casey Frank is a little bit high on with his knees. He's a little bit out of the defensive position, out of his stance, and he immediately takes advantage. He draws the foul, and he's a great free throw shooter, so he's going to go to the line. He will take it anytime you give it to him.
Well, Krzysztof Lavrinovic came in shooting 100%, so can't get much better than that.
I tell you what, Kuzminskas is still staying on the floor after he looked a little bit shaky in the beginning, but you got two players possibly injured or banged up a little bit with Jasaitis and Mačiulis right there. I mean, Lithuania just really has to scramble here.
Both free throws good. And it really is a deliberate pace by Lithuania. It's not up and down like we're used to. Good hands from Kuzminskas, knocks it away.
Terrible passing angle for Frank. There was no way to complete that pass.
Miskevich just passes back now inside to Darius Lavrinovic.
Did you see the quickness on that shot? Darius Lavrinovic just caught it and immediately went up.
Fotu fakes it. Frank for three. Good, that's a three-pointer from Casey Frank.
And Casey Frank is saying to the referee, I got even pushed on that shot. They got Darius Lavrinovic fired up, even through his belt. The back support back.
Balcius right at the line. Good.
That was a tough shot for Marty Kocius. He was almost covered there by Webster.
We're back to an 11-point advantage, and New Zealand presumably will try to hold it for one here. Corey Webster, 5 on the shot clock. And he draws the foul and has an and one.
Let's see if the referee's gonna count it. They count it.
Basket is good. So 6.1 seconds remaining. That's the only bad part of this for New Zealand, is that Lithuania have a little bit of time.
What a heads-up play there by Corey Webster. Did you see? I mean, he just sent everybody off and say, hey, I'm gonna create my own shot. Right? It takes the bump from Balcius. What a play. That was not an easy jumper. Look at that. One more time. What a beautiful move by Webster.
He's got 13 points. Lithuania not really dominating per se like they were in the first half with Valanciunas, but Webster now gets it back to an 8-point deficit. And New Zealand maybe try to come up with a steal here with Kenny re-entering the game. Now Sabutis.
I will play conservative.
Sabutis gets it up. So 8 points is all that separates these two teams with 10 minutes remaining here at the Palau St. Jordi. 58-50, Lithuania on top.
Looking at the stats in the game, a little bit slightly improved shooting there for New Zealand. They're over 50% from the 2 and close to 20% from the 3, but it's not in single digits like it was in the first half. On the rebounds, they almost even there with Lithuania. 29 rebounds for Lithuania and 27 for New Zealand. What I'm really looking at right now is that there was a huge collapse in the first quarter that Lithuania won 23-9, but after that, New Zealand has won quarter 2 and 3. They have won 2 quarters and they are still trailing by 8 points. I mean, we said it before, Jeff, if you get deep in the hole, and they got by the biggest lead here for Lithuania was 15 points. That was such a big lead right there that it has taken a lot of energy and a lot of effort for New Zealand to climb back.
you don't really feel like Lithuania are in trouble yet. But, you know, New Zealand can put points on the board, and they can put them on the board quickly.
Well, I mean, it's going to be interesting what kind of lineup they start the fourth quarter in. If they're going to go big again with Lavrinovic and Moteunas, or they're going to stay with the Lavrinovic brothers. It seems like the Lavrinovic brothers are staying on the floor, so that means it's Kozlauskas is staying with a more finesse group of big men, and they give him different looks. They give him the outside shot, they give him the drive, and they also give him a chance to switch on the pick and roll situation.
That was the three-pointer from Frank, and he was wanting a foul, but I don't think he was going to get that call.
So Corey Webster, Jared Kenny, Mika Bukona, Fotu, and Abercrombie stay on the floor for the Tall Blacks.
So 58-50, the start of the fourth quarter here. And Jared Kenny is indeed still in the game for New Zealand.
This is a big possession for New Zealand, only 8-point deficit.
They were in this position a minute ago, then the lead went back to 6. This time it's Webster, and he banks in a three!
Do you believe that was off the glass? Corey Webster falling down and just nailing the long three.
Quickly, Potsius back to Lavrinovic. It's a 5-point game now. It hasn't been this close since the first quarter.
And a smart foul by Kenny right there. He was pinned underneath the basket by Krzysztof Lavrinovic. Stop the play. It's going to be out of bounds. Look at that right here. I mean, Potsius was all over him. That was an incredible shot. A lot of luck on that, but still Corey Webster, the hot man for the Tall Blacks with 17 points.
Potsius pushed out by Webster, and that is not going to count.
Well, that's a second team foul. I mean, only 40 seconds of play there in the fourth quarter. I think that New Zealand has to be conservative in spending their fouls. It was a smart play because he was well beaten.
Well, they want to make Webster work on defense. Kuzminskas puts up a three. Questionable shot selection there.
He was, as defender, Abercrombie was very close up to him.
Now Vukona. Surely you've got to find Webster. He's got the hot hand. And Kenny chases it down. Almost a turnover. Fotu comes to set the pick. Webster for three. Short. And the rebounding position for New Zealand gets the foul called on Lavrinovic coming over the back. Kozlauskas doesn't like it, but Darius Lavrinovic is hit with the foul.
Mika Vukona again just sacrificed his body and fought hard there for the rebound. He doesn't get it, but Lavrinovic is called for the foul. Look at it one more time. This was the push-off. This is what the Lithuanians are also upset about. But here Mika Vukona, among 3 Lithuanian players, among 3 green jerseys, just gets somehow, finds a way to get fouled.
Well, Valanciunas comes back in with Lithuania wobbling just a little bit. Darius Lavrinovic goes out. And Lithuania not able to put that separation that they needed to put this game away. And here the Tall Blacks are. Webster. They are a resilient team, the Tall Blacks. Webster with 3 on the shot clock. Spins, gets it up. Fotu stays alive, and this time a foul called on, is it Fotu or Vukona?
Fotu. I think he pushed over Valanciunas there on the offensive rebound. But I'll tell you what, I mean, the Tall Blacks are just exclusively going to Corey Webster.
Ooh. Didn't see too much there, but it's being consistent, I guess. Off Lavrinovic, drives in, the ball stays off the rim, and Abercrombie.
Boy, did he have a good look there at the basket. I thought he was going to make that one with ease.
Vukona goes in, passes back to Fotu. Left open. Go, he is just money, and now New Zealand have trailed or they're trailing by just 2 points.
We got a game here. It's a 2-point lead only for Lithuania. And they're gonna scramble. They're gonna go with Mačiulis, who's got stitches in his eye. He's gonna check back into the game.
Potsis. Sabutis in the lane, right at the line. And the rebound, the hustle from Vukona. And he is fouled by Valanciunas, I believe.
Do you believe the quickness and dedication of Mika Vukona on these plays? I mean, he just goes there relentlessly.
Has the coach left Valanciunas on the bench for too long?
I mean, he just went with what was successful for him before. Really, the brothers Lavrinovic just give you a completely different option. And here was Vukona between 4 players, Lithuania, just managing to get an offensive rebound and getting fouled again.
The foul was on Potsis, by the way. And here's Fotu, that last time down.
But did you see it was a cardinal mistake that was done by on defense by Kuzminskas. He left the ball. I mean, he got himself faked out of the play. You never leave the ball.
Well, he's come out of the game, Kuzminskas.
He shakes his head, but what you like to see is Moteunas is coming over and saying, hey, it's okay, man. We still up 2 points. Everything will be okay. I mean, he's just really down about it. Look at it. He's just hiding his face there in the towel.
So New Zealand, who would have thought it? Trailed by 15 points.
Always say it before, Jeff, they just never give up.
But the way Lithuania were pounding it inside to the big guys, here they are, and if he hits this, they take the lead, and they have! Corey Webster is on fire! He's got 20 points, and New Zealand had taken a 59-58 lead.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that this could happen against a team like Lithuania.
Mačiulis now. And the scrap and the foul on either Vukona or Abercrombie. It's on Abercrombie. But Corey Webster, well, now you know why they keep going to him. He has got the ability to make shots.
Well, who's guarding him? I mean, Marty
Moteunas.
But Potsis got just stuck on the screen over there, and Moteunas just got to read that and go and help.
The Tall Blacks. Well, maybe that haka made a difference at the start of the game. Off the front of the rim.
That was a really short miss by Mačiulis, and I don't know if that was a smart shot because he was on the bench for a good 20 minutes.
New Zealand started this tournament 0-3, and now riding a 2-game winning streak, they have charged back from a 15-point deficit to take the lead against Lithuania. Offensive foul called on Vukona, and Vukona needs to be careful that he doesn't pick up a technical foul, complaining.
That would be number 4 on Vukona.
Offensive foul on Thomas Abercrombie.
No, it was
Oh no, it is on
Abercrombie.
Abercrombie.
Was off the ball then.
It was off the ball.
Because Vukona was right there on the ball, and we thought it was him just picking up the offensive foul.
And also the way he was arguing, but Kazlauskas, nervous times now for Lithuania. Number 4 in the FIBA rankings there on the ropes against New Zealand. So the quarter-by-quarter scoring, George, look at this, 9-0 here in the last quarter.
9-0, but if it wasn't for the collapse in the first quarter, that Lithuania won 23-9. It's been all New Zealand then. One second quarter, one third quarter, and now they're up 9-0 in the third quarter. I mean, seriously, what an incredible change there for the Tall Blacks, and they just never gave up. We said before, this is a group of true warriors, and they have shown it once and again. And as you said, they are 2-0 at the moment, just riding a 2-game winning streak, and they turn into 3-0.
And look at the bench scoring, which has also been a very important aspect of their play. You know, Rob Lowe starts. He hasn't really been able to do much offensively. He exits. And some of the other guys, like Fotu especially, has just emerged as a real star.
Well, I think that Coach Vucinic just stays with the same lineup there, with the same starting lineup, and he knows that Rob Lowe, if he gives him something positive, he might keep him on the floor for extra 2-3 minutes. But if nothing happens and Rob Lowe doesn't play so tough, he's going to come off, and the majority of the minutes are going to go to Fotu.
It's amazing how New Zealand.
And, I mean, this is the first lead for New Zealand in the game.
Oh, there you see it. New Zealand on top. Will Lithuania try to get the ball to Valanciunas? sets the pick, he goes inside. Over goes to Monteunis for three. And Valanciunas, a good hustle from Kenny to knock that ball out, but Lithuania maintained possession. You see Maciulis gets inside the lane, and Fotu is going to be called for the push, and this is what Valanciunas can do. He's difficult to keep off the boards.
He's just always there, ready for the offensive rebound. He's so tall, look at him. And he works very hard for the good defense, for the good rebounding position when the shot is taken. Just goes behind the defense. You saw it. I mean, he just works at it.
Well, he goes to the line, so this will become a factor in the game as well. New Zealand just with 2 fouls. Excuse me, Lithuania with 2, and New Zealand have 5 team fouls.
And I said it, there were 2 fouls for New Zealand in the first 40 seconds of the 4th quarter, and I said immediately, I mean, that New Zealand has to be careful with spending their fouls. And look at it, I mean, after 4 minutes of play in the 4th quarter, Lithuania is already in the bonus. And they are a very good free throw shooting team.
Well, Valanciunas came into this shooting 55%.
That's the only weakness. Monteunis and Valanciunas, they both shoot 55% from the free throw line, but as a team, they shoot 72%. So it's a good free throw shooting team.
Well, he makes both of them. And New Zealand now trailing again by 1. Webster floats in. And Valanciunas with the rebound.
I mean, he's just so dominant in rebounding right now that I think other players just gotta get involved there.
Well, the referee has stopped play. He goes over to get a towel to wipe off the ball. The perspiration.
Valanciunas has got 10 rebounds, so he's up to double-double with 16 points. Incredible scoring, 6 for 8 from the field, 75%, right around his average for the tournament of 72%. Such a highly effective player around the block. Just love to have this guy on your team.
He's going to force defensively. He's got the 3 blocks. Maciulis, and another foul called on New Zealand. So now Maciulis goes to the line, and as you say, a good free throw shooting team. And this will be a difficult situation for New Zealand to cope with.
So they have to be extremely conservative with spending the fouls. Look at it right here. And I thought that Thomas Abercrombie, he's lots smaller than Maciulis, so I think he can stay in front of him. But he was just too high on his knees, just wasn't in any kind of defensive stance, and just lost the battle one-on-one. They're just going to have to be very focused in one-on-one battles from the perimeter. You don't want the shooters of Lithuania to get to the free throw line.
He only makes 1 of 2, so it could have been worse. And it's a 2-point game again now. Kenny getting quality minutes. He was very important against Finland. Abercrombie passes up the shot, drives in, nowhere to go. Fotu chases it down, back outside to Kenny. 4 on the shot clock. And Webster hangs in the air and draws the foul right at the end of the shot clock with 1 second on the shot clock. And Maciulis says, hey, I just had my hands up.
Oh, that is a tough break there for Lithuania because they played incredible defense there for 23 seconds. Let's see one more time. Corey Webster just in desperation hangs in the air. And I thought that Maciulis was just really trying to get away from the contact, really.
Yeah, and it looked like Webster just kind of fumbled the ball. So a break for New Zealand.
But Corey Webster, I mean, does he just exert a lot of energy just to create those shots? I mean, New Zealand is completely depending on him at the moment. Kirk Penny's still on the bench.
Second one is good, so well, if you've got a guy that's scoring points,
that's
tie game.
22 points for Corey Webster and 3 rebounds, 1 assist. What a game he's having.
40 points from the bench for New Zealand. Monteunis gets it to Valanciunas. Double teamed. Over to Maciulis. He just lost the ball, but he gets it back. 2 on the shot clock, and Maciulis calmly puts it up, misses. Fotu fouls Valanciunas.
And he's fired up. He gets another valuable offensive rebound there for Lithuania, just keeps them in the game. I think it's now about Valanciunas against Corey Webster. I mean, if you ask me, Jeff, just two players just completely dominant in the game. He is just so big. I mean, what do you do? I mean, Mika Vukona is tough. I mean, he rarely misses an assignment to box out, but Valanciunas is just so long that he can reach right over him.
And he is noticeably bigger this summer. I mean, he has, the weight training is paying off, isn't it?
Look at his long arms. I mean, he's got an incredible body for basketball because he can still move his feet, even though I assume he's down with 120 kilos.
And also, despite shooting 55% coming into the tournament, he's made his last 3 here.
Big game Jonas. That's how we're going to start calling him.
Oh, no doubt about it. Makes both and back to a 2-point game. Goes back to New Zealand. Will they look inside, or are they just going to give it to Webster and let him clear out? Abercrombie lost it. Vukona gets it. He's going to have to scramble. He's going to have to put it up, and the traveling is going to be the call.
That was a good call because Mika Vukona just stopped and changed his pivot foot and traveled, but he was trying to create some space between him and Motiejunas. Motiejunas again so big that he creates a problem there for Vukona to get a shot off.
Ty Webster getting up off the bench to come in. Sabonis over to wide open Motiejunas. And again, struggling to keep Lithuania off the boards. Look at that. Second and third opportunities, and Valanciunas gets it to go. Back to a 4-point game.
I mean, he is completely dominating the boards and the game. Huge game there for Jonas Valanciunas to keep his team intact.
20 points, 13 rebounds for the Toronto Raptors center. Abercrombie, good.
That was a tough shot over Motiejunas. They need anything from Thomas Abercrombie. He hasn't been a big factor in the game today. Made 4 points in the second half.
318. Really can't rebound, can't keep Lithuania off the boards. Now Sabonis puts up a 3. That's an air ball, and that's about the only thing that could happen for New Zealand, and that's the best case scenario because no rebounds from that.
That was a good play because he went inside to Valanciunas. Valanciunas passed it out to Sabonis, who was somewhat open. He's a good shooter, so he decided to take a 3-pointer, but it was an air ball. That's the ideal scenario. No bounce there.
Well, great minutes from Kenny and Ty Webster. Now re-enters the game. Ty Webster takes it up the floor. Ty Webster for 6 points. Goes to Abercrombie. And Corey Webster. Vukona puts it up over Valanciunas.
What a
quality
shot.
from Mika Vukona.
Did you see that? I mean, he had to take it one-on-one because there was only 6 seconds left on the shot clock. And he makes a huge shot, and we got a tie ball game at 65.
New Zealand All Blacks showing what they're all about. They started 0-3. They've got the 2-game winning streak, and they are threatening to pull off what I think would be a major upset. Valanciunas spins, puts it up and in!
He's the man on the mission right here. Jonas Valanciunas, incredible, unstoppable there for New Zealand in the second half.
You got to go to him every time down the floor, in my opinion. Webster, back to Vukona. And Corey Webster, scrap for the ball. Look at Vukona get on the ground, but it ends up with Motiejunas. He goes in, he misses the dunk, but a foul has been called on Abercrombie.
What an athletic play there by Abercrombie. I mean, he was just somehow, he managed to get back into the play. I'm sure we're going to see the replay of a dunk attempt there by Motiejunas on the fast break.
Abercrombie has fouled out of the game. He's upset with that, but look at Vukona. And then Motiejunas runs it well for a big man.
And this is what you try to do. If you have a big man on the run, you just try to slam it home. At least you get a foul right there. No easy layups, nothing soft. Montaiunas just takes it strong to the basket.
Now you saw Machulis at the other end a couple of minutes ago get called for the foul with Webster. And you see Abercrombie goes straight up, alters the shot, but picks up the foul. And the free throw game is absolutely crucial here in this round of 16 game.
Lithuania shooting 15 for 19 for 79% at the moment.
I think he break that one, but it goes in.
Yeah, over 80% from the free throw line. It is huge.
Kaunietis. He's a fan now. He's nervous. Timeout on the floor. Lithuania have gone back ahead by 4 points against the New Zealand Tall Blacks.
Say that the momentum has gone back to Lithuania. They were able to string 2 good plays there together. I think that hats off to the effort of the New Zealand team because they just were somehow able to manage to claw their way back into the game. And right now this is a huge timeout for Coach Vucinic and his team. Execution out of the timeout. This is going to be a big possession right here. It's a 4-point game and we got 1 minute and 52 seconds to go. But Jonas Valanciunas, what a man on a mission. He's got 22 points. He's got 22 points and 13 rebounds. What a monster game. How many shots has he altered?
3 blocks.
Yeah, how many shots has he altered? How many shots he has, the rebounds he has gotten his hand on and tipped it to one of his teammates. I mean, he's been just phenomenal here, Jeff.
I concur. I agree. Estoy de acuerdo.
Kirk Penny, he's back on the floor. Watch out for him. He hasn't been able to shoot the ball well today or in the tournament for that matter, but he comes in there for Abercrombie, who fouled out in the game.
Corey Webster remains in the game. Ty Webster has the ball. Both of them, he can shoot it. Man to man. But give Kirk Penny. Dribbles in, puts up a tough shot, and Vacona hustles for the rebound. Penny is bailed out by the foul. He was fumbling the ball. And a foul called, just team foul number 4.
That is also important because I think that New Zealand just needs to get back. He needs to get to the free throw as early as possible. This was Mika Vukona. I mean, he's been incredible for New Zealand. He has just got, every ball that can go to either of the teams. You got Mika Vukona, he's got it for your team.
7 points, 9 rebounds for Mika Vukona. Kirk Penny has 6 points. Ty Webster inbounds it. And the scratch to the ball, and it goes over to Lithuania. And really,
that was Marty Potts just coming up big there with the pressure on the ball. He got involved in the out of bounds play, was just able to alter the direction. He gets in there, gets a shot to the face almost right there. But he's fired up.
Great play from Martinez Potsius defensively. It's the little things like that that are going to win you ball games.
And now New Zealand just going to really clamp down on defense. This is a huge defensive possession right here. 4 points and under a minute and a half to go.
And PJ Anthony's checked in to body up on Valanciunas to try to give him some more size inside. Lithuania content to run some time off the clock here. 7, 6, 5. Machulis. Go!
That was a huge three-pointer. Unbelievable shot by Machulis. It's a 7-point game. A very comfortable lead here for Lithuania. What a heads-up play there by Machulis. He was injured there early in the first half, and he collided with one of the New Zealandese players. His eyebrow got split, so he required some stitches. Was out of the game for a good 20 minutes. But when the game was on the line, he came back back to the lineup. He made some key defensive plays, and he just knocked down a huge three.
George, you see the foul trouble. Abercrombie has gone. You know, New Zealand, they trailed by 15. There's the foul trouble for Lithuania. Darius Lavrinovic with 4. They trailed by 15. They came back. They took the lead with Corey Webster hitting a three-pointer 7 minutes and 12 seconds from the end. And since that time, Lithuania have been able to just kind of hold on. And you saw that play there from Mačiulis, the three-pointer.
But still, Jeff, I'm looking at the partial scores, and Lithuania only won. This is Arvydas Sabonis just fired up that his team has been able to hold off New Zealand. But New Zealand is up in the fourth quarter. That means that the 3 quarters they are just ahead. Only 1 quarter won by Lithuania.
Every single coach that we've spoken to at this tournament have said that New Zealand are an extremely difficult team to play against.
Very unorthodox.
Lithuania will agree with that. But they've got the upper hand now, up 7 with 1:05 to go. Pass to Corey Webster, he fumbles it out of bounds, or into the hands of Potsius. And Webster fouls Potsius. And really, you just feel it slipping away now for New Zealand.
That's 2 turnovers, very costly turnovers there for New Zealand in the last 30 seconds, or last 2 possessions basically. You just cannot afford it. 2 times in a row they cannot inbound the ball. That is just too much with the game on the line. You just cannot afford mistakes like that.
See the tall black fans. The team is getting away from him, but for the Lithuanian fans, it's starting to think about quarterfinals. Potsius puts it up off the back of the rim.
We have seen some crazy things happen here at the World Cup, so don't count out the tall blacks. Something can happen. It's a game of basketball. Still 1 minute to go. We have 7 at the moment with the second free throw shots there for Potsius. It's a 7-point lead.
The Basketball World Cup has indeed thrown up some interesting periods of play here, some unexpected things. 8 points, the difference. So the clock is the enemy. And the defense from Motiejunas overplaying, trying to get the steal.
That's a big man right there at 2 meters 11. Donatas Motiejunas, he's overplaying the lane. Good job by him to be very active there defensively.
50.8 seconds to go. Ty Webster. New Zealand do not have time. Here's Penny. Puts the ball on the floor, puts it up. And the follow from Vukona has the ball blocked. Now, Vukona's asking for the basket to count. And I think the referee is asking, no.
It's okay, one more time. It's a drive by Kirk Penny.
See if he gets it up off the glass before the block.
No way.
Call by the ref.
Great call.
Can't blame him for asking. So 8 points to depth. The clock is stopped. So that's good for New Zealand.
Did you see Vukona just getting that rebound?
Fighting to the death. 73-66.
We said before that Mika Vukona, not a great free throw shooter, but in the game today, it's similar like Valanciunas has been able to connect on his free throw shots. I'm sure they're going to have to stop the clock somehow. So they're going to have to foul, but the big question is, who do you foul in Lithuania?
Nervous moments for the New Zealand fans there. Now, we've got a timeout that's been called by Lithuania. They want to make sure that they're all on the same page. So Kazlauskas will give the instructions here over on the bench. And again, the great start for Lithuania. Only to see New Zealand fall the way back. And really, New Zealand have even won this quarter. So it has not been easy at all for the Lithuanians.
But look at his stats right here. I'm looking at the free throws and I think he would be one of the players that would try to get a ball inbounded too. And then the foul it. Because he was on the floor. Looking at Mačiulis, he's shooting 70%.
He had made the defense scoring
Ty,
coming
you
from
look where the steal is.
28.
Okay? Look where the steal is. If there's no steal,
This is a difficult task, really. I mean,
If
the
the ball
Lithuanian
goes into the
perimeter
corner
players are
here,
such a high-quality
right?
free throw shooters
got
that regardless of
baseline guy
Potts is just
Isaac,
making it
we
one
got
free throw in the
JK,
tournament, I
Corey,
think
you
that
stop that pass.
Coach Kozlowski's
Nick
got
up,
good
you go
options.
down, Ty,
There's really
you
no
go.
weak
That's
free
it.
throw
Go,
shooter
go.
besides the big man, and I'm sure they're
Quick
now
go
going to
into
try
the
to inbound the
down,
ball to
right?
them. Actually, it's going to be Moteunas, the big man, who's going to be inbounding the ball. So you got Potsius, Sebutis there to be one of the recipients with Machulis, all good free throw shooters.
Well, Pottsius is fouled. The man, I'm guessing that they wanted the foul.
They stopped the clock at 40 seconds. Big free throws there for Marty Potsius.
Very big free throws for Marty Pottsius. And he misses the first one.
He missed it really short right there.
Actually, he's a good shooter. Just must be
No
struggling a bit.
question about it, but I think it's a high pressure situation.
Second is also no good, and the rebound goes off of Lithuania, so the clock stopped.
Was it almost a missed box
I mean,
out?
You know, with 42 seconds or whatever it was for Vakona when he made the 2 free throws, only 3 seconds has gone off the clock. Still, I feel like New Zealand need to get it going quickly here. Webster pulls up with the line. Good! And now it's moved to a 4-point game. 29.2 seconds remaining. And they haven't fouled. Yes, they have finally. So Machulis, remember he hit that big 3-pointer, and he's also hit some free throws.
It's a fourth foul if I recall. That's what the last play by Corey Webster. A nice jumper, but still Lithuania's got a 4-point lead. Not a bad intention there by New Zealand. They tried to pressure and maybe go for the 8-second violation, but then realized they were beaten, so they fouled Machulis.
And he misses, and suddenly it's the Lithuanians who are on the edge of their seats.
And we said that they're shooting as a team going to the game today 72% from the free throw line.
Back to a 5-point game. Listen, these guys play in big-time games in Europe or the NBA. The Lithuanians, they are used to these situations.
But now New Zealand's gonna make a shot.
Kenny out of the game. Ty Webster back in. And Corey Webster goes up and makes another basket, and it gets it now to a 3-point game. They have to get a foul, and they do not get the foul. They're going to have to get the foul. You'd think they would want to get Pottsius, and they do just in time with 11.4 seconds.
But that is costly. I thought that 10 seconds must have elapsed there from the time.
Were they trying to get the backcourt violation?
Well, I thought that they went for the steals. It was another spectacular play by Corey Webster over Marty Pottsius. But then it just kind of, there was a collapse defensively.
26 points for Corey Webster.
Because there was a trap right there in the corner, and when the ball got out of the trap, then nobody was close to the ball.
And he drops the first one in there. And the second one is good as well. Now that is clutch. So with 11.4 seconds remaining, 76-71, Lithuania. New Zealand called timeout. They're running out of options.
Yeah, running out of options, and it's just very little time left after New Zealand just couldn't find a way to stop the clock with a foul. But Marty Pottsius just really calms the nerves of Lithuanians. And I think now the coaches of Lithuania are signaling to the players that they will go for the foul. And, they will not allow a 3-pointer because now the 3-pointer is really the only option.
We got Mecca.
Vakona, Fotu, 4 fouls. So
So that means you have to go to Corey Webster for the three, Ty Webster if he's going to be on the floor, or Kirk Benning.
Abercrombie has already fouled out. We see Darius.
There's no foul trouble for Lithuania, really. I mean, if you coach how many big guys Jonas Kozlauskas got at his disposal, he's not worried about Lavrinovic, Darius having 2 fouls. If Lithuania plays it smart now, Jeff, they cannot lose this game. It's only about concentration right now. If they make the foul early, put New Zealand on the line, I think they're just going to manage to hold on to the victory.
Well, New Zealand clearly will look for the quick three if they can get it, or will they only settle for a three? Lithuania have to be careful also they don't foul the three-point shooter. I've already seen him do it once tonight. He fouled Penny. Here's Penny. And Penny almost threw it away. Penny gets it back. He has to put it up and tries to draw the contact. New Zealand will maintain possession.
Good job by Motiejunas just to stay down on his feet, just put his hand up. Such a big man that there was no way for Kirk Penny to even see the basket. Look at it one more time in replay. Motiejunas stays there. Good job. Kirk Penny was looking for the contact, but none was there. Only with the body slightly, but he was the one initiating the contact.
Ty Webster comes out, Jared Kinney comes in.
They have to take the shot immediately.
Kinney inbounds it to Penny. Fouled by...
No, he stepped out of bounds.
So that gives it back to Lithuania. So Lithuania are going to bring this terrific run by New Zealand. They won their last 2 games to get here. They threatened the upset today. But timeout, and it would just take something, the most bizarre situation. You see him step out of bounds. Lithuania, it looks like they'll advance and play the winner of Turkey and Australia in the quarterfinals.
But again, it was Motiejunas getting out as big man and just making sure nothing happens there on the outside. Should give a lot of credit to him. I think he's the unsung hero of the team.
Motiejunas.
He just many things for the team, just defensively and offensively, and I just have not seen him receiving a lot of credit. People speaking about the factor of the Lavrinovic brothers, the change they give. Jonas Kozlauskas defensively and offensively. They also speak about it, of course, they also speak about the dominant play of Valanciunas, but I have not seen much praise there from Motiejunas.
Motiejunas, 8 points, 8 rebounds today. It's not a bad day's work at the office when you consider he's played 21 minutes. And he's also got a couple of steals. Just 1 turnover. Julius, and the ball is intercepted. Corey Webster puts up the long shot, and New Zealand's run at the FIBA Basketball World Cup comes to an end. Sadness to them and their fans. We'll see more of them in the future. I mean, they have got a bright future. They fall 76-71 to one of the real powerhouses in the international game. Lithuania move on to the quarterfinals of the FIBA Basketball World Cup. Well, George Zedek, we've just watched a real barn burner. We saw New Zealand get on top of, we saw Lithuania get on top of New Zealand by 15 points, but New Zealand, they hung around and they showed what they're all about. It took a terrific amount of composure from Lithuania to see this one through.
I think you have to show a lot of respect there for both teams, because New Zealand was able to come from a 15-point deficit to take a 1-point lead in the 4th quarter.
They rebounded as well. You can see both 37 apiece.
I mean, they have Valanciunas, Motiejunas in the lineup, and they were so dominant on the boards early on that New Zealand just really fought back, and they were able to even the score on the rebounds at 37 apiece. But the story for the Lithuanians was the inside play as we expected. Jonas Valanciunas just coming on huge late in the game, and he ended up with 22 points, 13 rebounds, and 3 blocks. I mean, what a monster game by him. Corey Webster, he was there for the losing side, but he was instrumental and he was incredible. He was making some of the plays that you just couldn't even believe that he was able to do.
And we can't say enough about Mika Vakona. The guy has given everything to New Zealand at this FIBA Basketball World Cup.
And I think if you think about the turnaround, the energy and the leadership and the smart play was really coming from Mika Vakona. He was absolutely essential there for the New Zealand to turn things around. But again, I just want to reiterate, Jeff, we have to respect both clubs. New Zealand for coming back into the game, and for Lithuania to staying in the game, because they had to fight through 2 injuries to their key players, Simas Jasakis and Mačiulis. They both got injured in the game, went out of the game. Mačiulis checked back into it. He came there for the key moments, and they just were able to prevail.
76-71, Lithuania move on to the quarterfinals of the FIBA Basketball World Cup.
Quizá por eso lo disfrutamos tanto. ¿Te gusta conducir? Si tienes más de 10 años de carnet de conducir, vente a la Mutua y te damos 10 euros por cada año de más. Llama al 902-555-555.
Soy de la Mutua. Los empleados de Salinas reciben cartas maravillosas. Hoy vamos a leérselas.
Gracias por poder consultar mis dudas con un médico siempre que lo necesito.
Por encontrar un centro médico en Irlanda cerca de mi hotel en el que solucionarlo todo.
Porque gracias a vuestro trabajo en la Ubimóvil mi padre está estupendo.